Johnson, and this is focused on Liberia. Hit it! From Cape Mount to Cape Palmer, Mount Nimba to Atlantic Ocean, Obomi Hills to Boakai, to educate, elevate, and promote. Talk about home affairs, hey, in diaspora, current affairs, hey, reliable information, history, ooh, talking about culture, hey, politics, education, entertainment, business, sports, advertisement, articulation. Focus on Liberia. Focus on Liberia. Focus on Liberia. From Monday to Sunday.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Focus on Liberia. This is Between the Headlines, and we are broadcasting from Atlanta, Georgia. Today is the 100th day since President Joseph Newman Boakai took office as President of the Republic of Liberia. He made a plan, 100 days deliverable, that at the end of 100 days, he told us all the things he was going to accomplish. Today is the 100th day, and we are here to discuss how far are we with the 100-day deliverables. I'm glad to have all of you. Want to welcome all our viewers from across the globe. Let me welcome my co-host here, Mr. Ansony Sieh. Mr. Sieh, welcome to the show.
Dennis, it's good to be here. I think it's a kind of exciting time in our nation's history. Another president marking 100th day today. Made a lot of promises. We are here to assess those promises to see whether he was able to accomplish as promised. Let us do this now.
Right. I remember the song Standing on the Promises of. Are we going to be standing on Boakai's promises? Let me welcome Mr. Francis Jabate, the word of mouth. Welcome, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. It's always good to be here and talk Liberia and speak with our audience. You know, this is one of the best audience on social media. They are very engaging, so I always look forward to being here. So, yeah, let's talk Liberia.
Thank you. You know, some people say 100 days is a Western idea, but we've adapted that and we're using it. President Boakai, 100 days in office. Let me welcome Wanda Konyene Freeman, the attorney. Welcome, sir.
Hey, Dennis, thank you very much. And it's good to be here. I guess we have a lot of stuff coming up, so I'm excited.
Thank you. Let me also welcome the former president of Liberians in Canada, Mr. Leo Napulu Johnson. And he wears many hats in Empowerment Square. People remember. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Jai, and greetings to all of your viewers out there, and also to my fellow panelists. Good to see everybody. I'm looking forward to the discussion.
Let me also welcome, for introduction purpose only, Mr. Anthony Kuangpa. He was responsible for us in the diaspora in the WIA's government. Mr. Kuangpa, welcome, sir. You are muted. Yeah, you're good now.
Thank you, Dennis. Hello to everybody. Leo, how are you?
Yeah, and Mr. Kuangpa, today is his birthday. He's not here for long. He's going to be with us, on a continual basis. So we just want to get a few words from him, and then we're going to be, he's going to be taking the exit. Let me welcome all our viewers from across the globe. This is Focus on Liberia, and we are discussing President Boakai's 100 day in office.
Well, Dennis, you can't even let us give us a chance to say happy birthday to the man at least. Happy
Yeah,
birthday.
we're coming. Let me also welcome J. Victor Nawe, an old-time member of the Progressive Alliance of Liberal Power. He metamorphosed into the UPP during the just ended election. He spent some time with the CPP. He is a political analyst or focused on Liberal. Welcome, Mr. Nawe.
Hey guys, good to be here. Quickly, the last time I was here, I was announcing the passing of a family member yet again. Regrettably, the UPP that is, we lost our 2017 stand-up bearer, McDonald went to today.
What?
Quite, yeah, very, very unexpected, but our hearts, go out to the family, especially, and of course to the UPP members. On a positive note, congratulations. Looks like the deadlock in Yola is over, I think. The judge has certified the election, so I think we have a new brand leadership coming. Congratulations to MSG, Juan Keita, and Emmanuel Nagby for full disclosure. That would be my wife, and I'm glad to be here.
Thank you so much. Thank you, and our condolences to the bereaved family and the UPP for the loss, the passing of Mr. McDonald Wento.
Thank you.
It's very sad indeed. Well, gentlemen, today President Boakai 100 days in office. Mr. Kwangba, the birthday boy, is not here for long. Mr. Kwangba, and he also contested in Nimba and lost. And he and the senior senator of Lima, they have some scuffle in Zwagle. Let me get a few words from you, Mr. Kumpa, before we take leave of you so you can go enjoy your birthday.
Yeah, thank you, Dennis. Again, hello to everybody. As you can see, already in my car, getting ready to go enjoy myself, small gentlemen. For a long time, I have not celebrated my birthday, so I think I want to do that today. But yes, it's a good thing to be a colleague of all of you here discussing important issues about Liberia. One thing I always say to people from Liberia is, until you work in the government in Liberia, then you will understand fully what it means to be in Liberia and working in Liberia, and you will have a broad understanding of, a genuine understanding of what it takes to move our country forward. But Jah is a good thing. The Zwale incident, as you mentioned, was something that over time, I will seize different opportunities to talk about it. But there's something very important with our entire Zwale thing that I think as a country, we need to pay attention to. This is another pandemic in Liberia. And what I'm talking about is, for example, somebody can just walk on Broad Street this evening and say, that Leo Johnson man raped somebody now. Trust me, the next person you speak to on that matter will already start to put him in jail already. Okay? Our society do not give themselves the opportunity to verify information. Whoever comes to the media first, whatever that person says, trust me, that's it. And even worse when you're in a political time. So those things happen. Now is not, we'll have another day that I will talk about it more. But I think the topic on our discussion tonight is very important. As the president said to the people of Liberia, XYZ will be happening in 100 days. I will be listening in on the show. Hopefully we can look at all of those things that have happened. The good things, we'll talk about it. Some of the things that need improvement, we'll talk about it. Because at the end of the day, that's the Republic of Liberia we're talking about. Whether George we are at the president, Boakai at the president, Elian's the president, we want the best for our country. So what we can do is to recommend those things that will make Liberia better. So I want to thank everybody here, and I look forward to interacting with you guys for the foreseeable future. Thank you.
Happy birthday, my brother.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And enjoy your birthday. So, President, we're talking about the 100 days deliverable, and who's best to hear this from them, President Joseph Newman Boakai. Let's take a listen shortly.
Given the urgency to provide immediate relief to millions of Liberians during the first quarter of the year, our government had launched a 100-day development plan. In this plan, we considered addressing urgent needs by intervening in critical sectors. These interventions, implemented by the various ministries, agencies, commissions, were informed by the following key objectives. The first, the need to ensure accountability in the public sector was a major objective underpinning service delivery in the first 100 days. Therefore, addressing transparency and accountability in the public sector by undertaking robust and grab measures, including strengthening financial oversight and promoting ethical practices across all sectors to combat corruption, was seen as a critical step to removing barriers. Second, as citizens of this country continue to be confronted with the seemingly perennial problems of poor roads and accessibility, addressing the infrastructure needs as a priority objective of this plan. Focusing on the maintenance of major road corridors, improving sanitation service, providing critical meteorological equipment, and upgrading ICT systems at the only international airport in the country was considered a major attempt of bringing relief to the citizens.
Yeah, you heard it from President Joseph Newman Boakai on the 100-day deliverable. Let's go around the room now. Let me start with my general question about your take on what you heard today. But is this whole idea of 100-day deliverable and giving a report on 100, is it really necessary? Does it matter? And did the president, I know all of you read the 100-day deliverable or the 100-day deliverable plan. Does that plan match what the president reported today? Or really it doesn't matter? Let me get your general take. Let's start with Francis.
Yeah, I mean, to answer your question, I would say no. And I think we are doing our people a great disservice when we place more emphasis on the 100-day deliverable and trying to analyze it, because there are so many things that go into play. We want to copy everything from the U.S. We like to compare everything we do in Liberia with the U.S., but it's different out here in the United States. When it comes to 100 days, you got a president that's working in the office with, we talk about government is continuing with it, but there's a budget that's already in place or a budget that's going to be passed. The government never completely shut down. There's always some kind of extension that goes on, but that doesn't happen in Liberia. You have a country that president that took over and they had to pass almost what considered a stopgap of, I believe, $43.something million, I believe, back in January or February. Then there's no national budget. The budget right now has just been passed and hasn't even been implemented yet. But we are going to count 100 days and letting our people in Liberia believe that it's actually something that can be quantified or something that can be actualized. It's not possible. So we need to, those of us that come on the platform are privileged to be on the platform and speak to our people. We need to let them know the truth. Because I know we'll have a lot of disagreement here today about this, but we need to let our people know that it is not like the market winning, the keke ball. Don't sit back and looking for these changes in the 100 days. It's not possible, especially in this Liberia, this current atmosphere in Liberia. So to answer your question, it's not something that we should be discussing. I mean, I'm not saying not discussing it, but we should let our people know that this thing is almost not real. It cannot be accomplished. Nothing this big can be accomplished, or major change can be accomplished in 100 days. That's where we are on budget, because everything in Liberia costs money. Anyway.
So who spotted that? President Boakai putting out 100 days when you, according to you, really doesn't matter?
Okay, he's not excluded, But for us, those of us that, for me, I call us talking heads on these platforms and opinion shows and things like that. We need to let our people know, because our people listen to us and they want to get the truth, or they want to get our opinion. So we need to let them know that this is not real. Even though we're about to discuss the failure or lack thereof, but we need to let the people know, because there are people thinking that, in 100 days, my streets will be paid for gold, or in 100 days, this is supposed to happen. And we need to tell them the truth.
Thank you. Mr. Freeman, or Attorney Freeman.
Well, I don't know whether Francis has been around for a while, because I think I got a video with Mr. Boakai saying that in the first 90 days, all the roads in Liberia, there will be no cars stuck in the mud. So if you set a standard, why can't we judge you on the standard? But overall, look, I got two parables I would like to introduce. In Liberia, we say when chicken white a white. A white. Or as we say, when your Christmas will be good, you will know from the eve. There are things that Boakai can achieve in 100 days that doesn't require money. It just requires his signature. It just requires a decision. And as the show go on, we will bring out some of the things to show that he just couldn't make the decision and he just couldn't, sign the document. But so it had nothing to do with money or time or anything. There were things that he could do as he stepped into office, but he was just not prepared. And, for the most part, I'm not disappointed, because I never believed that Boakai was up to the task. But of course, the Liberian people selected him, so we have to give him the courtesy. But now we can see that the chicken is white.
Thank you. Let me go to Mr. Leo Johnson. Mr. Johnson, is this whole thing about 100-day deliverable really necessary? Or did President Boakai kind of hang himself by promising, I'm going to deliver X, Y, Z 100 days? Now, listening to him today, did his report match what he promised on paper?
I'll start by giving a parable in Pele. And it says, what that means is, some of you may have heard this, it's your cutlass throwing hand that people can see before they call coup to your farm, or before even they allow you to join the coup. Those are your up interior, the people can get in the brushing collective for everybody to go on each other's farm. What do I mean by that? It's interesting how people say we copy these things from America, when really we don't, because what we're doing has no resemblance whatsoever to what is done in the United States. So we need to figure out where we're copying these things from, because I don't think it's from the United States. The issue of 100 days is a farce. It's a political waste of everybody's time. It's a waste of resources in the first place. So first of all, I would like to say, any leader or government that comes into play in Liberia and talk about 100 days, that's the first place. Maybe the 100-day deliverable could have been accomplishing the budget passing through the House. Because how can you be committing 100 days without even having a budget as a government? How can you be committing 100 days? Let's look at it this way. It's arbitrary and it's artificial. Because in 100 days, it's actually practically impossible. Maybe the only thing you can do is come up with a plan, if you're really serious about doing the work that is required. So for me, the politicians put out a 100-day plan. So at the end of the day, we have to evaluate it, because if they said they were serious and that's what they would do, we will evaluate it. But I think what we need to also realize is that there's no significance to it. It's a political thing. There's no substantial way of measuring it. Why do I say so? Because you're reporting in 100 days. What measurement yardstick have we used to say we're really measuring what you said? When the definitions of the things you said, some of them you are still unfolding the definition of what was said. So for me, to my advice to governments will be, and as we go forward to these evaluations, that we who call ourselves educated people, when these things are said, let us also do the public a favor by scrutinizing them when they are said, rather than just making it look like it is something substantial, and then we are coming to evaluate it today. I think it's also fair to say, in a country where your budget is over 500 billion, where you cannot even raise it properly, we haven't seen you done it. You can't even form government in 100 days. How can we be saying that? So for me, I don't think there's any substance to it, but given the circumstances, we were giving a plan. So even though the plan was a draft, and I don't know if there was a formalization of that draft, we would just go to it and see what the president said today versus what was accomplished.
Mr. J. Victor Nabi.
Well, two things come out of this, and I agree with those who are saying this is, it's un-Liberian. It's not a barometer that our people use to judge, the successes or the failures of a government. But one, this is a sign of a broken promise of the president to his people. He didn't have to make these promises, but he did make them anyway. So this is what bothers most of us. So you have to say and do. You don't just say and move on. So that's one. So in short, this is an unforced error that this president brought on himself. And once it came out of his mouth, we will hold him to it. So that's one. Two, the bigger problem is it brings you to question this president's ability to govern. All right. I mean, I have been saying over and over, I think the 100 days deliverable are overly ambitious. But then what about the minor things, even before we go to the big things in the 100 days deliverable? This president has not even been able to formulate a full government. Right. So I think the 100 day, it's not a big thing in Liberia, but like I said, one, you came out and you spoke these. Then you must live up to the expectation, the promise that you made. Two, it tells us how you're going to govern us going forward. You set your own benchmarks. You haven't even scratched the surface. Now, the little things that any routine, ordinary government is supposed to do is proving very difficult for this government. I mean, many comparisons have been made by several people with Senegal. The gentleman came in way after our president came in, and he's done formulating his government, and they're moving forward. So those are the two major concerns that come out of this. One, this president promise, is it a broken promise to the people? Two, is he really up to the task to carry it forward?
Thank you. Before I bring in my man Anthony to take it away from me as the co-host, let me ask, since Leo brought about, all of you talk about parable. So when you get to the river, they say the place the river shallow, you want cross, right? No, the place the river shallow, that the place you want cross. You're not going to the current and go past there, right?
Or to the deep end, the one where you can see the bottom.
Right. So do you think President Boakai crossed to the shallow area or to the deep end?
I don't know.
Go ahead, Leo.
No. I was about to say, I think President Boakai crossed to the deepest end because, for example, the issue of roads. If anybody knows the complication of roads in Liberia and to deal with it, no one has even really gotten a good grasp, outside of the urban areas or what the needs of roads are. So for President Boakai to come in swinging that in 100 days, that all major corridors in the country would be pliable all seasons, that shocked me because that's most like a wish list to me and not a plan. So I would say
dishonesty.
I said President Boakai went straight into the deep end without even looking at the river to know which side was going. And I don't know, maybe there was something else they were depending on. I'm not sure.
Let me hear what Francis will say. That's strong current or to the deep end or to the shallow part. Where is Mr. Boakai crossing?
I mean, if you want to use that parable, then I would say, okay, it's like you dug a pool and then you came back after somebody else went and fixed that pool again. You don't even know what the deep end is. So the person that came after, which is CDC, messed things up real bad, but this president came in and thinking, okay, I'm just going to do what maybe we left after
jump inside
12 years and just jump in. Then now, no life jacket. But the flotation device is coming. The Liberian people now continue to suffer like this. But in this first 100 days, I just don't want every time I get on this platform, I like to focus on our audience, the Liberian people, because I don't want people sitting there and think that, oh, this is realistic. Or maybe CDC government or CPP could have done this in 100 days. Nobody could have done any better in 100 days without a budget. So all I want to like people to understand. Even
So
promise,
I beg to differ.
Wait now.
here's what I'll say to that, right? If Francis and I agree with him, I think we should be talking to the ordinary people, our people, because they have a much better understanding of how government works, and because the way government works impacts their lives. So the easiest way to determine the success of any government is to go to the ordinary man. How are you feeling this government right now? Do you feel you're better off when this government came into being than now? Are you? How is your life? And let it come on and tell you. Everybody's falling in and talking about.
That's a false equivalent. You can't do
Yeah,
that.
hold on now. Let me bring
Hang
you.
on, Francis. Hang on. You make a habit of interrupting. You gotta wait, buddy.
Hold on. You didn't wait
You
too.
interrupted me before I even finished speaking.
Right. You didn't wait.
Hold on
Hold on there.
Okay.
Let me bring in Mr. Ansony Sieh. I threw a lot of things at you, so let me throw all of it at him too. Mr. Sieh, where you think President Boakai is crossing?
Well, then I'll get to the crossing part. I'm not good with parables, as you, Leo, and Konyere are. Your first question, I will address that. And you played a speech, and Boakai was delivering a speech, making his report. I felt sad for my country. Very sad. I want to have a president when he's speaking, I'll be motivated. I will not be looking for food even when I'm hungry. It is important to me, and I think it should be important to a country as well. I want to see a president who speaks to the nation and people can hear him. And this is what we have. This is the best we can do for our country. But I will leave that part. This whole thing about 100 days deliverable, I don't think it's a bad idea. When you list things that you want to accomplish in a time frame, it's a good thing. When you accomplish those things, then you know you are getting somewhere. But when you make a plan that is not realistic, that is a lie, based on the fact that it's not achievable, then that deceit is something that people will hold you back. If you look at the laundry list of things they promised, Leo couldn't have captured it better. You don't have a budget. No government runs without a budget. By law, it must be approved before you spend a penny. You don't have a budget from day one. You say you will do this thing. How? So you know what happened now? They got money from somewhere. They start building the roads outside of the law, in violation of their own PFN law that they passed. But for some people, these things are not important. So, Dennis, I like the idea about 100 days deliverable. Westerners are doing it. They are humans like us. We can do that too. But these things must be realistic. We should have the money. You don't have money. You know, somebody told me, you don't see woman, you go take her trouser. That's someone here. You don't have money to implement these things, and you are telling us you can do those things. And the other question was, did the president report match the promises made? I would say no. If you read the statement, I just read it before coming here, absolutely nothing in there. But if you look at the plan, it said there are a lot of good things in there. So I will submit, and we will discuss all the things that were promised and see whether or not they were able to accomplish the good number of those things.
Thank you. In today's speech, the president listed three major areas, right? The need to ensure accountability, transparency. So, instituting a robust or robust graft measures. Those were things that so that was part of his plan. He also talked about he called it the perennial problems of poor roads and accessibility. That is linking to his no cars stuck in the mud. And then he said two issues that are consequential. They are education opportunities and substance abuse. So those were major things that the president stated. But without going into the speech now, let's look back at what the president promised in his 100 days. Konyene, you have not really had, you said this was unrealistic. Let's look at some of the things he promised and how that matched what he presented today.
Dennis, before I go into that, I want to say that some of my panelists are emphasizing budget. And I want to disagree. Some of the failure of Boakai had nothing to do with money. For example, he promised a commitment to the rule of law and action against impunity. Right from the inauguration, 650,000 was squandered. All he had to do was commission an investigation, write a letter and commission an investigation. No money was needed. Did he do it? No.
But well, how would the commission work without money?
No, because he had Ministry of Justice working, police working, everybody working, LSCC working, they're taking pay. So you didn't need any extra money or extra budget.
So where are they taking pay from?
But they're already working. So what's the point? They're working already, aren't they?
But where's the salary coming from?
No, the point I'm making,
the CDC
they are currently working. So you don't need extra money for that.
No, but I mean,
You don't need extra.
the salary is already in the fiscal year.
It's not the point. They are working. They are going to work every day. So it doesn't require an extra money to launch an investigation. Okay?
No, the money is not extra. The money should come from the budget.
Exactly.
No, you're not getting me. You're not getting me. Listen, Dennis. The Ministry of Justice or the LSCC and all those institutions are going to work on a daily basis.
From where? Where's the money? Nowhere to
What
pay.
do you mean by money? They're going to work on a daily basis. Ask for money. What money they need?
Their salaries.
That's the thing. They are working every day. Aren't they working?
That's the
Are
problem.
they saying who?
They will not be faced with it at the
Can
end.
we talk one at a time, please?
Yes, give me a break. You already spoke. I'm saying some of the things that he needed to do didn't require any budget. People squandered right from the inauguration. 650,000 was squandered with no hay, no tea. He didn't require extra budget. Just authorize the Ministry of Justice to launch an investigation. He didn't do it. Some of the things that he did he had money for illegal activities. For example, there was no budget, but he offered to bribe the national legislature on 2 occasions. So that was contrary to his pledge to commit to the rule of law. Then he and his chief of staff tried to illegally solicit money from Social Security. He has not dismissed the man. You don't need money to dismiss him. You don't need money. So there are a lot of things that he needed to do that just required a letter, not money, and he failed to do those things. So, and I want to go by the things he said in the campaign platform, because the 100-day deliverable is more like propaganda, but the platform is what we're going to hold him by. And I'm saying that too many of those things didn't really require money. For example, in the first 100 days, when the Supreme Court ruled against him, he committed to the rule of law, but he decided to undermine it. Did he require money? It didn't require money. It just required a commitment to the rule of law. So we shouldn't come here and say nobody expected him to build skyscraper, even though he set an unrealistic expectation with the rules, but he has not even demonstrated commitment. For example, the Code of Conduct law, he violated it. It didn't require money. He just violated it willfully, and he has not enforced it. He has not enforced it because he was the first person to start violating.
Thank you.
So that's the point I'm making.
Yeah, thank you. And Leo, let's talk about, he didn't need money to form his government, right? So, and still, because the people that will implement the 100 days plan are his ministers, for instance.
Yeah.
He has not finished forming his government yet. So I don't know why he thought he would do this without a cabinet.
But Mr. Jah, when we talk about the budget, we're not talking about him needing money to spend. This is one of the fundamental problems we have. You go and start setting government priorities without an approved budget. So you have this mismatch. By the time a budget gets approved versus what the government has already initiated, there's a complete disconnect. And first of all, it's in fulfillment of the laws of the land. It's a rule of law matter. The budget fiscal year has a time period. If you start to spend money as a government without passing a budget, that is very problematic, which is the reason why most of the things are disconnected from the reality. But number two, you talk about the formation of his government. I agree with you. Mr. Dangbe was talking about Senegal, which is a much more sophisticated democracy, way larger than ours. In fact, the opposition was not even close to being close to governance or whatever that is, and they won. 2 weeks after the inauguration, the entire government was formed with an agenda ready to roll. So my thing is, one of the major and biggest Achilles heel of President Boakai's government has been this whole appointment saga. You would have thought that with the experience of the United Party being in government before, seeing some of the intricacies and interplay of how these things work, I would have hoped that in the first 30 days, that the president would have already been lining up his entire government. But I guess one of the problems too is, look at some of the people that are under the appointment for the president. And, lower level officials, technical positions are all political appointments rather than the cabinet and the major heads of agencies we should be. So I will agree with you that the problem with President Boakai challenges are not financial. That's not what we are saying. I'm only saying that the budget is another legal requirement. And if any government really wants to hit the ground running, you want to get out your budget passed as quickly as possible, because that will put resources into your hands and allow you to plan well. Right now, all the planning they are doing are all ad hoc. They can plan anything long term, because what if it doesn't end up passing in the budget? What are you going to actually do?
And let me revisit that question about the importance of this 100-day deliverable. Mr. Nakwe, let's assume that the president achieved a whole lot of things outside the 100-day plan, right? Would that be a bad idea? Because we want work done. Say the president gets there and see that, we saw nobody anticipated the fire stuff. Nobody anticipated, the incident that happened at the SKD. So if the president, is it because he did not follow his plan? Or are you saying that he didn't really accomplish? Because I think the president has accomplished a lot, but except that it didn't go in line. Some of it didn't go in line with his 100-day deliverable. What if the president accomplishes many things outside 100-day deliverable? Would that be a bad idea?
No, I think it would be a good idea, except that we'll all be hard pressed to point to those major things that this president has accomplished. I know Mr. Waller will continue to post and repost tonight those things that he claims the president has accomplished, including, of course, the formulation of this government that everybody is talking about. But no, I think if this president had made a lot of progress outside of the 100 days promises that he made, I think people will be. A number of us have congratulated him on the effort to announce and formulate the war crimes and the war crime economic crimes code. I keep messing this up.
I was surprised you didn't talk about it.
Yeah. So so that's some effort that some progress that was made in that direction. The economic crime code formulation, also the asset recovery and retrieval. I think there was some attempt made. Of course, now we're beginning to wonder as to the fate of these two undertakings. But no, I think it's not just that this president did not deliver on the 100-day deliverable that he promised, but it's a whole general governance. Why does he have to pick a fight with people who are already tenured? But he already knew that, because this is really originated when he was vice president. And this whole thing about the president coming in, there's no budget and all of that. Please look. The vice presidency is the closest you can come to the presidency. This president was vice president for 12 years. He is supposed to know the ins and outs of the workings of government. So he knew exactly what he was talking about. He knew what it means not to have a full budget. He's aware that you will have 1/12 of the budget available to you. There are a lot of things he knew, but they just can't seem to get it started. This is what is bothering a lot of us. There are a lot of good that they could do here that they're not doing, and they're wasting a lot of energy on the unnecessary. You know, last week the president announced 163 names just for Sino County alone. I mean, why wasting? Yes, why is he even wasting 5 minutes on that? I mean, without due respect to the local government, all of that, but you know, there are bigger things to be doing. He could be doing, but this whole thing, the government formulation is
You can walk and chew gum at the same time, Mr.
you
Nana.
could walk and chew gum. Thank you.
Why is the president appointing board of directors for agencies? The board
Exactly.
chair, the board member, the other board member. Like, come on.
You know,
This is
I
how
mean, look,
it has always been. You
Yeah.
are the principle of BWI.
But that doesn't mean you can do better. Just because it always been that way, you can change it and make it better.
Mr. Sieh, let's go to the president's accomplishments. Maybe like asset recovery is a big deal. The president didn't talk about it. The war crimes code, the Senate and the House, they passed, right? He didn't talk about it. Okay, the ombudsman, even though today I think they say the ombudsman, they're paying them too much money, so they were on it. So is that a matter of delivery, or is the president not really accomplishing much in his first 100 days, or he just didn't know how to articulate it?
Well, then there are a lot of attempts they made on some issues. The war crimes code thing is one effort. The appointment of the ombudsman, there's another one. The fiasco asset recovery attempt is another one. And the efforts on the road rehabilitation, that's another one. So they've made some efforts here and there. So I was actually like, okay, how could you have initiated these efforts, you know, the promises you made, and you didn't, you know, come up with a report as so, hey, we are 50% with a road project here. Now, they talk about a road project, they talk about 700 plus kilometers, you know, they started. I know the president did not give the figure, but from my reading of reports out there, they committed pretty close to $22 million outside of the law, by the way. And I saw some of the pictures of the roads. I am not impressed. I am not impressed. Others are impressed, and that's very okay. All right. So you are making marks on the roads. When the rain comes, we will be stuck in the mud. You are creating more marks. The level of work I saw. But again, some people appreciate it. It has never been that in some areas and some roads, so people are happy. But I want something better. So then it's to answer your question, what I see is this is a government that is fighting internally with government jobs in the first place. For example, they made some efforts trying to audit the payroll. The president talked about forensic audit will be conducted. That's the word they use. I mean, they have not done all the audits. So they said all of these things were going to be done in 100 days. But now if you read his report today, he's talking about launch. They are launching some of these things, some of the things they've started. So if they actually were like, look, we made a promise to the people and we need to give them progress report, because in the very 100-day deliverable plan, they call it 100-day action plan, they talk about prerogative reports. If you read it, that there will be prerogative reports. So they didn't give out any report. This is the only opportunity they have to give a report, and they could not itemize all of the things they started to tell us where they are. This is a failure. And this is a government that is not strange to governance. They've been in government before, Mr. Boakai. So I will give it to them that they started some efforts. I like the fact that they had this plan, even though it was unrealistic and it was very ambitious. They didn't think about whether or not they will find the money, but they had a plan. And as we speak, I will give them a C with the implementation of the whole thing.
Thank you, Mr. Jabate. I think let me go back to that same question. Is it a matter of delivery, right? Because first of all, I think there is a consensus that this plan was very ambitious, right? So what we saw the president enumerated was like, we launched this, we started this. I think the only way he gave a figure was agriculture, where he said they have reduced the rice importation by 70%. I don't know how, but like
he said they will. They will.
Yeah,
he said they will.
Future.
Everything is in the future.
Right. Yes. All of these things where we launched this is what's going to happen. I mean, it's a good effort to start this thing, but the 100-day deliverable, the plan was what he was supposed to accomplish.
Thus
Exactly.
deliverables. The word deliverables, they were supposed to be delivered.
Yeah.
Right.
That these things will be done within the 100 days.
Right. Like healthcare, he said, well, we start this. We took the thing there. We the money, this has been initiated. This has been started, right? Which is a good thing. Do you think the problem is that maybe because this really not what's supposed to happen? Just start something and not to accomplish something. You think that where the problem is, Mr. Dabate?
Yes, I would agree with everybody. You know, you say you bite more than you chew. You know, more than you can chew and stuff like that. With this whole 100 deliverable, it was so overly ambitious. But yeah, the president did accomplish some stuff. I still will not give him a C. I support this president, but I'm not giving him a C. I give him a D for the 100-day deliverable as a failure. But places that he will score a high mark, even though collect in general it's a D for me. I mean, the road working on those major corridors. Yeah, if he did some good work there. We had a Senator Zoe panel that said it used to take sometimes 70 hours from Zwedju to Monserrato. Yesterday he said it now takes 6 hours, so that's a major accomplishment. We talk about the passing of the resolution by both houses for the Assembly of the World Economic Crime Court. I will give a failure for rule of law. I'm not looking at rule of law based on what the attorney, Mr. Freeman, was talking about, because he's also misleading Liberian people by, as an attorney coming on here saying that the president colluded with his chief of staff before he was even chief of staff to take money from Social Security, wherever he got evidence from. If he can show that evidence that the president colluded with his chief of staff, that would be a beautiful thing. But when it comes to rule of law on my end, I still think that security, I didn't see anything there. That's a major component of rule of law. Our streets are still pretty much almost, I mean, it's not safe like it's even, the street was safe, or it was safe during Charles Taylor time or right after the war. Then now that we have enjoyed 20 years of peace with in the absence of the gun, you know. So the road it would be difficult in 100 days to complete anything. I mean, we have former president that used helicopter and went to the southeast and told the people there that it was a 6-month rain, that the reason why he couldn't fix the road. He forgot to know that he was in office for 6 years, and Liberia has 2 weather, rain and dry season, so he has 6 dry seasons to fix the road. But now to fix all those roads into southeast is not going to be an easy thing to accomplish in 100 days. And I see people, we're talking about 112 of the budget. The president took 40 point some $1 million back, I believe, in February. So that was 112. That was, I believe that was the 112. And he used it, and my Mr. Snare that's saying where did he take almost $22 million from to work on road? He took over $40 million of the budget. So we don't have an itemized expenditure of what he did with that money, but I would say yes, that some of that money went to road construction or the rehabilitation of some of those corridors. But I'm disappointed. I'm not gonna. My people should have to settle for less. So that's why I gave him D. The entirety of the failure, the infighting in the government, like folks are saying, you being government as a vice president for 12 years, you knew you won the election, I believe, November 10th. So your cabinet top officials should have been ready to go before inauguration, but you were still fighting over it after inauguration, a month after inauguration. So that was a failure. But I'm still optimistic that things will get better. It will be a lot better than the last 6 years. So, Mamusu and Paplomo, rest assured, things will get better. It will not be this way. And we will continue to call this government up if they continue to mess things up, because we deserve better.
So Francis,
yeah, Dennis, I don't know. I can make a quick comment.
Yeah, hold on. I want Francis to end with this. Why do you think President Boakai left out what many people thought were his major accomplishment, like the asset recovery, like the war crimes court, things like that?
Okay, let's say maybe I'm not going to speak to what he said. I'll just assume that maybe the resolution passage was an oversight. That's why he didn't measure it. But how will you be proud of the asset recovery team? What have they done? The asset recovery team has not recovered any asset in the last 100 days. So
remember Bono cars and.
But that's what I'm saying. They went to court and the court sent it back to do the right thing. And when they were given the instruction, the roadmap as to what to do, have we heard anything about asset recovery team? Maybe the strategy hasn't behind the scene, so that he couldn't take credit for the asset recovery team where there's no asset that are being recovered.
And then the Supreme Court denied, the tenure. I think.
No, but you see, that's the problem. Antonio also mentioned that in his
the president won with the tenure.
Yeah,
right?
the Supreme Court overruled. That's the second time. They should be embarrassed too. 2 for 2, the Supreme Court has told you no, go and do it the right way. But he cannot say, oh, the president went back and got the people out. If the president has evidence that warrant their suspension pending out of investigation, then he's right to do so. He's right to do so. You can't say he was wrong because some people overturned his position, so he should sit down and put his hands under his leg.
Thank you, Attorney Freeman.
Yeah, Dennis. The colleague there talking about the rules, and that is one of the reasons why Liberia is poor and continues to remain poor. We always think that we can violate our laws and then something good will come out of the violation. That rules you are talking about, the Senate has opened an inquiry because they committed the government to $21 million in the absence of approval of the national legislature. It was illegal. Under the law, what is illegal is illegal ab initio. Okay? From the very beginning. So from the very point that he decided to commit the government to $21 million without legislative approval, everything else becomes illegal. So you can't continue to violate the laws and expect that the country will get better. That is a wrong way to go. It's the same thing with the asset recovery. You got LSCC, you got GAC, you got FIU, you got about 6 or 7 different organizations. You don't want to work with them.
Ministry of Justice. Ministry of
Justice. Everybody, and you are paying them. And you don't want to work with them because you feel some of them were appointed by the WIA administration. So you go and set up another body, paying them $1.5 million and put it in your office so that you can give them directive on what to do. Look, let me tell you, Francis, if Liberia is going to get better, we will get better by following the law. You are working for the Liberian people. Whatever you want to do it lawfully. You cannot violate the law and then, something good will come out of it. No, it's wrong. So that's the point I'm making. There's a lot of the things that Boakai did in the violation of the laws. Those things don't require money. It just requires commitment to the rule of law. He gave $50,000 out. Somebody asked him where did it come from. Up to now, Boakai is still silent. Why is he silent? He is Mr. Clean Hands. He shouldn't be silent. He should tell us where he got the $50,000 from. And those are the things that go to the heart of the poverty in Liberia, because that's illicit wealth. In more than 25 countries around the world, illicit wealth is a crime. Okay? So because we don't have it, but it's a violation. So what we want to do, institute the rule of law and commit to it. What Boakai has shown is that he doesn't care. And let me tell you something. When the Supreme Court rules and you decide to undermine, it causes more danger to the Republic of Liberia than any other actions. Because we do not fight war because there is a court and we all go to the court and we expect the court to rule and we abide by it. When you render the court meaningless, people will decide not to go to the court. And when people decide not to go to the court, it's just one step away from going back to the violence that we all saw. So let's encourage Boakai to continue to abide by the rule of law. Even if you want to do the best thing on the sun, you want to give Liberia go and tamon. Follow the law and give Liberia go and tamon. Don't violate the law and say, because I give you go and tamon, so I'm violating the law.
Attorney Freeman, the Supreme Court did not see it that way, right?
In what way?
The FTA, they went back to the Supreme Court and said, hey, look, the mayor is undermining your decision. And Supreme Court said, no, we don't.
No, you got it wrong. You got it wrong. There are 2 steps to the Supreme Court. There's an in-chamber justice, which is one justice, and there's a full bench. So when you go to the Supreme Court, sometimes you go there in chamber, the chambers can listen to it. Sometimes the chamber can say it's too big, bring it to the full bench. So what happened there? The chamber is the chamber justice, which is one judge. He is saying this is too big for me. Bring it before the full Supreme Court. So we have not heard the last word from the Supreme Court. But what I'm saying, Dennis, peace and prosperity prevail in a country when people can go to the court and the court can settle problems. When you undermine the court and people choose not to go to the court, people will decide to help themselves. People could decide to buy a gun and solve their own problems.
Thank you.
Just a question for the attorney, because I don't want to confuse the people that are listening. Because yes, I agree. If the Supreme Court rule on something, it becomes law. Yes, we should abide by it. But is he telling the Liberian people today that even though I even agree that JMB should have put his best foot forward, if he had any this particular audit report or whatever he using to suspend the board at LTA, he had that before he initially dismissed them, he should have used it. So, but if the attorneys telling the Liberian people that JMB should have just left it on God,
okay, so what about you know the party people that 300,000? What did he do?
He sent. Do you know
what did he do? Right in your office.
Answer my question. Did you read what JMB used as the basis of suspending the LTA?
Because it's arbitrary. It's arbitrary. That's arbitrary decision. There's so many corruption going on.
You have not read it yet, but you say because the Supreme Court rule, so nothing else can be done after that.
Thank you.
I'm telling you, that's not how you do it. You give, when the Supreme Court rule, that judgment has to take effect. You have to allow the judgment to take effect. You cannot take an action to undermine and cut the judgment.
What's the time frame? If you have evidence of something else, what's the time frame?
It should take effect. That's the point I'm making. When the Supreme Court rule, it should take effect.
Was it 2 days?
He never allowed the judgment to take effect.
Thank you. Let me go to Leo now this time, and then Namwe, and then Mr. Sieh. I'm still on, what was not said. President Boakai, and thank you, Mr. Wallow, for mentioning the closing down of Western Cluster. Why is the president not boasting about these things?
I'll tell you why, Mr. Jah. First of all, it's clear, something is clear to me. Nobody really is tracking these things. That's the first thing that's clear to me. Because, for example, we should have had a report either released right ahead of the president's speech. Because the president's speech is usually
it's coming. He said it's coming.
Yeah. So what are we looking at then by getting a summary? Because the president's speech, and usually, I may be wrong, I can be corrected, is usually just a high-level summary, right? Either it's released before or it's released right after the president's speech, so that the thing the president will reference, people then can go and read the details. But here we are sitting and can only go off of what the president said or what he didn't say. I would say to you this, Dennis, if people in the government were really tracking what's going on, there's just a number of things that were missed, like you said. For example, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, in the 100-day deliverable, there is nothing there for them, no timeline, no time when they will deliver anything in the 100 days plan. However, Minister Sarah Besloniati was able to regulate, the passport or regularization exercise she undertook. The entire country welcomed it. I remember there were raving reviews of it, on Facebook, and how smoothly the process has been able to do. Nobody mentioned that. Even on our foreign front, nobody has mentioned what's going on. Like you also mentioned, I think there are some very low-hanging fruits that the president has made strides on, and we can talk so and talk so. But the fact that the people who are writing the president's speech ignore all of that, it makes me wonder, are people really tracking? And that is the problem with putting these 100 days things forth. Mr. Jah, what would have happened if the president would have come out and said, we're taking over a government that is taking us time to even fully assess what we are inheriting? After the first 100 days, we'll be making a comprehensive report of what we've been able to achieve without necessarily writing this ambitious, long document like an essay that everybody knew was impossible to accomplish. The president would have looked even much better had he set that expectation to say we realize that we are in a very difficult place. So as a government, we are taking a different approach. After the first 100 days, we will give the Liberian people a comprehensive analysis and report on what we achieved versus what we've taken over. Then today, we would have been hailing the president for giving us a comprehensive state of affairs of the nation including areas that they have made progress. But when you set the wrong, in any reporting, any deliverable, people will tell you, set the bar in a way that no matter what happens, you'll be able to achieve it. People will say, oh yeah, the president gave 100 days, the federal government didn't give 100 days. But guess what? When you make a report after 100 days that shows that you've made some progress, you've moved the needle, you've organized some things, put things in place, then people be like, wow, let's give it to the government a little bit. The government has done something, but we got something to measure you against. So at the end of the day, even when you made some progress, it looks like you failed because what you put out is what we are going by. And nobody in the government seems to be tracking. Everybody seems to be running their own kingdom rather than tracking areas that were not in 100 days, but has been significant progress that the country has welcomed.
Thank you. And because this 100-day plan, they're supposed to do monthly reporting. They're supposed to meet. Everything is laid out there, but that didn't happen. In fact, I'm not sure if we ever got the final copy of the 100-day plan. Mr. Nambe, I think the most beautiful part of the president's speech was this end, right? Starting with when he said, hey, rescuing the country is one thing, and setting it up on the right trajectory is another one. I think that was profound. And then he's kind of right there, he acknowledged some of the challenges. So I thought the ending was very beautiful. Do you think the president underestimated, like you can rescue, yeah, but when you bring them on land from the water, you have to do something. How prepared is the president to set the country up on that right trajectory that he spoke about, based on what he's accomplished so far?
Yeah, I really honestly believe that this president's heart is in the right place. I think I think he means.
How the long can cut it, Mr. Nawe?
I know that I'm coming to it.
The mega
I think but I think what is giving him so much headache is his ability to rein in, the intra. I don't want to say fighting, but the coalition that brought him to power is a pretty contentious coalition. His ability to command this coalition, I think that is what is giving. Look, Mr. Sieh mentioned the president's body language coming to the podium today. You could see he would have rather been somewhere else than at that podium. He comes to the podium. He's not coming with conviction. He's dragging himself. The only little joke I heard was he saw rescue senator or whatever. So I think he's trying, but the problem he's having is to get his team, in unison, and focus. I think this is what is bothering him. Like some of the things that you guys are seeing, there are quite a lot of things that he has done. I mean, look, when he came in, there was this rolling blackout. He went to the Ivory Coast, he came back, whatever was done there. I think to some extent the problem seems to be subsiding, though they haven't mastered that problem yet. There are a lot of things he's doing. The people at the Rural Electrification Project, my friend Samuel Bogi, he continues to churn out these progress notes of what they're doing. So I'm hoping that what he delivered today was the executive summary of a full report to follow. And I'm also hoping that he will get out there and explain to us what it is that he's doing. I think the communication is becoming a problem. He's pretty laid back and, he's not that forceful speaker, but yet I think we're paying attention to the message when he's talking. So whoever wrote this executive summary today, I think they didn't do him justice. And then he himself, he didn't seem to have his whole heart into it. So there are a couple of things they've done that they could talk about, yes. And then, of course, then there is the whole 100-day. But you had asked the question earlier. I believe there are some things that they've done outside of the 100-day delivery that I was mentioning. The foreign minister, for instance, that Mr. Johnson mentioned here. The foreign minister, when they regularized the whole, I think she gave an ultimatum for people to come in and switch their passport. That was something worth it because our passports are in all kinds of hands.
It went smoothly also. I was surprised.
Exactly. That is something they could have mentioned today, but they didn't. And so I am at least you're wondering, yes, he has these people, some of them are in 2029. Are they sabotage him? I don't know, because I'm not trying to foment an eternal uprising. But they have to be careful with it and pay attention to all of this.
But Mr. Nangbe,
He's doing everything he means well, but he's not getting. This team is not moving all together in the same direction.
But Mr. Nangbe, Chentenes, just before you come in, if that report takes too long to come, that comprehensive report,
yeah,
it takes another 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks. The country
would have lost the whole.
It would be irrelevant at that point.
Absolutely. And why is it? Aren't they doing the periodic reports? As they indicated, that would have even been more helpful.
Mr. Sieh, when the president was announcing we owe like $6 million to WIAC, and all that, I'm wondering to myself, why don't cut this off and go back to national exam? Why are we paying this money?
But why is it why are crediting us?
Right.
Like, that who's running that kind of regime that why are crediting people the money goes to 6 million?
I think those are outstanding. Commitments.
My question
why is Wire letting they're supposed to suspend Liberia entirely from participating? Why is the debt claiming? Why
because maybe the previous government was so smooth. But what is raising eyebrow for me is the Boakai administration came in, looking at where the country has been. I mean, they have criticized the WIA government administration so badly, but they don't seem to have a handle of things that we have put in place, like the WIA fees, free tuition, harmonization, and all these things, right? Things that I was thinking that they will really come up with.
Those are 100-day. Those supposed to be the 100-day plan. As to what they would do about those things,
right? But they're repeating them and like doing the same thing.
But Dennis, let me ask you, read this here quickly. Under the National Transit Authority, 100 days. Repair and make operational 15 broken down buses. Provide conducive work environment for administrative staff and operate. Come on, like how is this is a day-to-day managerial business? What does this have to do with 100-day plan? But go ahead.
No, even if you go to the aviation RIA, we're going to do this. We're going to put the. So, Mr. Sieh, they fail. Is it the failure to actually analyze the system? A system review that is really causing Mr. Boakai these problems. Because if you are repeating every bad thing, and I'm putting that in close quote, that we are put into place, and you are looking for money to pay for it, does that tell us that really you didn't do a review of system?
Then this is about reporting, and it falls on the Minister of Presidential Affairs, and it also falls on Joseph Boakai. He chose a weakling of administrator for the country. Now, the second in command is a dear sister, a young woman who has not had a serious job in her entire life. She is the deputy for administration, sorry. So all of the things they promise, when the ministry and agency responsible for those things or in those sectors were carrying on these efforts, they should be tracking and documenting them day by day and have a report on the 100 days. They knew that 100 day was coming. They knew the president needed to give a report. They promised that they will have regular reports. All right. So that is the reason no one is tracking. These people have been fighting for jobs. Look, if you look at the Civil Service Agency, for that matter, the team there have been doing some work. Just from newspaper alone, from the press conferences alone.
He reported on it.
He mentioned that one today. He went in a little depth of that one today, CSA.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm sorry, Mr. Sieh, are you done?
No, yeah, please don't interrupt me. So Leo mentioned about the foreign ministry, right? In the 100 days delivery plan, the only thing they talk about appointment of a foreign service inspector general and ambassador of foreign missions, pay outstanding obligation to foreign missions, rent, salaries, and operations. That's the only thing they promise. So for the foreign minister, in her wisdom, to correct the issue with our passport that was bastardized during the previous administration, it's a plus. What stopped them from mentioning it? Now, the other one I want to talk about here is the whole wide thing in the 100 days deliverable plan. They said they will pay. And now they're telling us that, we owe $6 million. No, you didn't tell us that you were going to tell us how much we owe. You said you were going to pay. And now he's telling us, instead of talking about paying the 6 million, say, well, we put 3.5 in the budget. So they have not paid a penny yet. They are still planning and thinking how to pay. Now, that is a failure right there. And I can tell you, they've made some efforts in other areas. For example, they talk about the government, local government act, the tourism, something built. They submitted those things. I mean, those are, things you can talk about, right? And I think he mentioned those
even the transition bill. Liberia has never had a government transition bill. It's always been up to the government. They managed to get that bill. These are some major milestones.
Yeah. Another problem is, Dennis, they made in a 100 days deliverable plan. If you look at it, they said on day 101, meaning tomorrow, they will be able to release the National Development Plan of Liberia. Look there, it's there. Day 101, they will release it. So here is the 100-day deliverable plan is still a draft. They have not given us the finished product yet. And today they're supposed to make a report. We don't even have a report. They're still telling us the report will be coming. So how can we expect that the National Development Plan for Liberia on the 101 tomorrow will be ready? Dennis, we answer your question. No one is in charge of tracking the efforts they're making for them to have a report when they needed a report. This is what it is. And I don't think they should have issue to say, hey, you fail in the area, you fail in the area. They knew they were not going to accomplish all of these things. But it would have been better for them to say, look, we talk about the roads, we achieve 50%. We talk about this, we achieve it. This one, we initiated it. That's how I wanted the report to be done. So I hope when the report comes out, it will appear like that.
But then
this government, Dennis, the Unity Party government should not be making these mistakes, should not be acting as though they don't know what to do. And this is what we see.
But Dennis, you asked an important question. Maybe the next person I want to remind you was, where did this get disconnected? Or where was this disconnected? I think it came from the transition team. You are talking about they don't have a good hand of what they took over from Mr. Weah. We're still waiting for the transition team report that could have shown the government, that could have informed 100 day. That report from the transition team could have shown all the gaps, the deficit, where they would have problems or not, which could have been the basis upon which you then say, okay, what are the first 10 things we need to focus on? But up to now, and I'm not saying they don't have it, but we're still waiting for that transition team report to show us what exactly did the Unity Party government inherit from President Weah.
And Leo, I can tell you they don't have it.
They don't have it. I think one of the problems, if I may put up my project management hat, is there is waterfall approach, meaning you do everything and wait at the end to present the final.
Yeah.
Versus the implemental, the agile one.
I like agile.
It's continuous. So you do piece, you say you do another piece. So as you do the piece by piece, you start to present it. I think that's where the problem is. So, but hold on, Victor, because the wire thing, when I listened to it, was getting me mad. I said, if I'm superintendent of Sino, I'm going to campaign for Sino County to be exempted from WIAC.
Yeah.
We will do national exam. We don't want to pay that money. It's for nothing. I believe at least 6 years, leave the WIAC, let's use the money and develop our own. But Konyene, let me go to you. Every plan, you have unexpected things that happen. For instance, the president, when he made a plan, he did not anticipate that there were going to be fire all over the place.
Wait, I thought you had me on hold.
Dennis, that's not fair. Don't keep saying that. The president knew there were already fire burning before the president.
No, he didn't anticipate that.
There was fires everywhere in Monrovia.
Johnson, let's be honest here. The magnitude, the rate of fire.
There's no fire service. How don't you know that there will be rate?
No. You don't need fire service to know the rate.
Here's my point.
Burn today,
but here's my point. Because these things come up. The incident in Kinjal, right? You saw the LEC, not LEC, the power theft death. And all these things came about. Even the county, it had to be delayed because of certain reasons, right? And now there is trouble. So I'm wondering, okay, things happen, in between that he was not expecting. And he didn't mention any of them. I mean, why is that? Like, he talked about the challenges, but you have really pinpointed some of these things that came in and how he was able to address them. Because we expect them to happen. We expect these things to happen. Why we didn't see some of those intervening the circumstances that could have hampered the complete or successful implementation of the 100-day deliverables?
Well, I guess sometimes it may boil down to competence issues because, like we're saying, they are not really tracking the issue, so it may be difficult. Because if you are tracking and really analyzing specific intervening things, you will be able to know in what way they affect them. But gentlemen, that's why I say I think we're just trying to be nice, and be polished with Boakai. But Boakai has been bumbling from one problem to the next, and some of it was of his own choosing. And it took a lot of time and energy. The fire incidents, it's not something that happened today. It's a long series of neglect of the Bureau of Fire Service, and it can be pinned on CDC alone because Boakai was part and parcel of previous regime that neglected the fire service. And I don't think the fire was even important to him until it hit the Speaker House. So there are other things that happen, that may have intervened. But that's what I feel. If you want to be fair with him, in my mind, we look at things that were totally, exclusively under his control. And that's why if you follow my analysis today, I mentioned things that were under his control that he could have done, that didn't require money, that didn't require anything. For example, he commissioned an audit of the NSA. And GSC wanted to do it. Then he wrote and said, no, don't audit the NSA. I mean, for Christ in heaven, said the NSA is one of the most corrupt agencies in the Liberian government.
But why did he even make it public? You could have quietly audited the NSA without making a public show or political show of it.
I don't know why, because he's the most experienced person ever to become president. Okay.
That is the genesis of the 100 declarable. That whole, flamboyant, grandstanding.
He always grandstanding. He famously took photos. He famously took photos of him taking drug tests and all that kind of thing. And then he put 300,000 in the budget for the whole year. So the point I'm making, I want to be fair with him. Things that were fully under his control, we can hold him by it. Because, of course, as you're running government, there may be intervening circumstances and stuff like that. So he still has time to make up. But look, I tell you what, I've analyzed it. I tell you, when chicken white is white. If your Christmas will be good, you will know from the eve. The first 100 days that we have seen, it doesn't inspire any confidence that we are heading for beautiful times.
Mr. Jabate.
Yeah, I get the attorneys and experience for chicken white or Christmas will be good on the eve, because as a strong supporter of CDC, I can see why the last 6 days was terrible, because that first 100 days was a mess too. So he probably knew that. But I would say yes, President Boakai, what he needed to is Council
Jabate, to your point, who is a strong supporter of the CDC?
The attorney.
Anthony Freeman.
Yeah,
Anthony Freeman,
the lawyer. I'll say lawyer. Are you lawyer? So I don't.
Look, you know what you do, Francis? You know what you do, Francis? I have a blog called wonderfreeman.com. Go on wonderfreeman.com and find out who Wonder Freeman is. No, because you say who I am, we are investigating, so I'm giving you where you can go and investigate.
Don't accuse a lawyer. You prolong it. Continue making your point.
Yeah, I know. You're right. That professional talker. So let me not say it again before you talk. But anyway, I will agree that.
Go check it.
One, they should President Boakai should stop wasting money. You get that stuff, Judge, where they talking about free education, pay WIAC fee, without finding a way to pay for it. Everybody knows government, there's nothing free in government. President Boakai already, we talk about the country is broke. Why are you continuing with that stuff? Cancel it. You have a debt that you can't pay, you want to add more debt onto it. Cancel that free thing. You know, there are a lot of things that you can be doing without $3 million that you talk about putting the budget for YFE. You see, so I mean, right now, they came with the fire straw hose. You know, when you drink out of the fire hose, the water come and hit your face, they peel your skin off your face, whatever the case may be. But they don't have, they didn't realize the magnitude of what they were getting into. You see, people will not say it, but the destruction that was done to the system, not the system because there's not that many systems that are working in Liberia anyway, but what was this done to the country in the past 6 years? It would take a lot of digging and covering holes to get out of it. But the 100 days is over. The 100 days is over, and I can let the Liberian people know things will get better. Things will not remain this way, and we'll see to it. We'll continue to talk about it. We'll continue to bring it out. He will not use rhetoric and say, "Oh, I'm going to do this." We said he was the most experienced in Liberia, and we campaign against the CDC-led government. He should use that experience to do better for the Liberian people. But as of now, I didn't see anything. That's why I gave this 100 days. Even though I didn't want to discuss 100 days because it's not realistic, but I gave him for the 100 days a failure. The 100 days was a failure, and they can do a lot better. He needs to appoint people. He needs to start firing some people because right now, everybody thinks it's free for all. It's burn nets. You fly in, you fly out. We replaced George Weah with him because we said George Weah did not do right. Why he still got money captain sitting at LNC? Does he have something on him? He went after 10 new people. The money captain is sitting over there. The money captain have something on him that when he remove him, he will spill the beans. You know, so I mean, he needs to change the place that will have direct impact on the lives of the Liberian people. And he seems like Christmas light. The place is hot. Reason that hot. So let him do something about this stuff. You know, so why it should be canceled? That money can be saved and used for even police people to get paid. Our police people don't have pay. And people dying all in the street in Liberia. You can't record 911, they will not show on the next week. You know, so a lot needs to be done over there, and you need to focus on it and stop with all these grandstand or the flamboyant plan that they have. Be quiet and work. It's a work soft but carry a big stick. But stop making all the major publications and not doing anything for the Liberian people. That's what we're not going to stand for.
And Mr. Javate, do you think the failure, because up to now you continue to mention that the mess the country is in, right? The damage of the 6 years. Maybe a report, a comprehensive report of what President Boakai inherited would have helped.
Absolutely. Even though there will still be people that will come on here and say, "Oh, the law," but at least put something out there for people to be able to pick sides.
And what is preventing President Boakai from doing that?
Oh, what was this whole transition thing?
That's $1 million. Exactly, that's $1 million question.
What
That's
was the
the reason.
glamorized transition thing that has so many people on it all about?
But that's what I'm saying. That's the reason why they are having a hard time right now, because they keep saying things and not showing anything concrete to the Liberian people. Put it in writing. Show it. 1 + 1 is always going to be 2. It'll never change to 3. So if you did if you had a transition team, let them bring that report. If the outgoing administration want to come with a counter report, let them come out with it, but at least show something. But they have not done any of those things. So that's the problem.
So let me announce that if you want to join the conversation, 605-313-6004. The code is
Francis, I wrote something for you. Check it out.
But
what I want us to go is if you think that he has not done well, why? And based on the 100 days we have, what is ahead of us? What is ahead of President Boakai? What do we hope to see? But I want Mr. Sieh come in and then Mr. Nabi.
Yeah, Dennis, thank you. Look, this administration is doing exactly what CDC did that contributed to the massive failures that we experienced. When CDC took over, CDC did not take stock of what it inherited. The only report we got from CDC was we inherited a broke economy.
Empty coffers.
Empty coffers. That was the report. How bad the national service was, fire service was, we didn't get a report. So this is the very thing this so-called experienced Unity Party is doing. This Unity Party yell all around here that we are is dragging this country. In Darius DeLong's words, he says the country is in a toilet. So how could this experienced Unity Party inherit this very bad government and will not get a complete assessment of the damage that was done that they are inheriting to report to us that, hey, this is the level of damage that's been done. And this is how long it's going to take us because we are in a deep hole. Are they even thinking about that? I doubt it. I doubt it. This is their own plan that is still a draft. So the very mistakes the CDC made, that's the very mistake the Unity Party is making. So no one should be surprised if Unity Party should give us another failure of a government. I rest my case.
Mr. Nabe.
Yeah, Dennis, you know, a little open secret to this government, right? I think government is a creature of habit, you know. Some of the best practices come from experience, you know. Even here in this country, you apply for a job, there's always that crucial question of how long have you worked at this job? What experience are you bringing at this job? So I think one of the mistake this government made and they continue to make is the concept that they have to empty out the entire government and replace it, right? I think that's proven to be, you know, arbitrage. You know, no matter what it was, there are some people who were in this form of government who were real good technocrats. Those people could have been left in place to help out this government. You know, we're talking about, you know, tracking and keeping track of the government. You know, it's a very simple thing. There is a director general of the cabinet. What is he doing? Then there is a president chief of staff, the minister of state. They should be able to track it, but they haphazard manner in which things are being done. So they make governance look like a daunting and overwhelming task, you know. So now, not only are they replacing all these people, but some of the technocrats who could be helping them out there, antagonizing them, you know. And so no wonder why this government, you know, they're having difficulty figuring out how to get from A to B because there is a complete disconnect. So, you know, I'm hoping that, you know, all of these things, yes, 100 days, you know, it's just 3 months. They still have a lot of time to go. But I think they could really pull back and recalibrate. You know, I heard something about retreat somewhere. I don't know if they're going to do that. But they need to sit down, you know, with themselves and really try to recalibrate and come back on track. You know, it's just really surprising some of the things that are happening in this government, you know. This government that came, you know, with a lot of experience. We expect a lot, but that's not what we're seeing.
Thank you. And when we look at the appointment, that's a whole new thing to look at. Dr. Abdullah Dukle said, I think the 100 days deliverable should start from the first cabinet meeting. And Dr. Dukle is watching us on the big screen. He tried to show that. So with the cabinet, and I was even talking to somebody, and they were talking about the new. But let me bring in my callers. Let's start with Mr. Flomo Livingstone. Flomo.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Jah. Great show. I love the constructive criticism from a few panelists. I mean, that's what we want. Today, I mean, I don't know why I have to agree with Mr. Nabe today. I mean, it's kind of weird, but I like his constructive criticism. Mr. Johnson, I like that. You know, I mean, I give the president the 100 days, I give them 70% of what it did so far. I mean, you guys bring on some important things which was not included, which they could have put in for the foreign affairs. Even today, the implementation of the NIR, the National Identification Registry, the one who, you know, to do into biometric. I think that would be good for the country. I mean, it'll be easier. That's a good accomplishment for me, you know. And it's so bothering me today, like Anthony Freeman wants people to investigate before they criticize him. But he criticized President Boakai all the time without investigating. He just put out some information without no investigation. But today I'm kind of surprised. But I hope you understand how it feels by just putting on lies and no evidence. Hopefully, he can provide us evidence. That way, we can go through it. But for me, I'm not saying the administration is 100%, but at least, especially the rules, condition, and other things like that, I will give it 100%. And thank you for the show. We welcome the constructive criticism. We like that.
Thank you. Abraham Kone.
Yes, good evening, Dennis, and good evening to your panelists. This is Abraham Kone calling from New Jersey.
Go ahead, sir.
Thank you for the show.
Thank you.
Great discussion, guys. I know the intention is to move Liberia forward. But two things I really need some answers for or clarifications, if you may, that has to do with the road construction activities that President Boakai talked about today, and that of the priority of the LTA officers that were relieved of their positions under the guise of audit. One, they talk about spending, I think it was Ansony, right? I think he talked about $22 million that got used for that amount. But my question there is, I didn't see any asphalt pavement on any of the road. Neither did I see any of the road being paved with cement or rather it's all dirt roads. That's one. Two, were there any importation of earth-moving equipment by this government in the last 3 months that they have been in power? Because $22 million only to give the country dirt roads, I don't know whether that will require some audit or some questions from the Senate. I think that the public works minister needs to give some answer for that, because that's a humongous amount of money you're talking about. That's one. Two, lastly, Dennis, the president removed LTA commissioners under the guise of discrepancies in their report. But the amount in question that he's talking about, even if there are discrepancies, is less than 1/10 of the monies that the discrepancy that they talk about between the outgoing government, which it was $40 million, and Boakai claimed it was $20 million. And that is almost $21 million discrepancy. And up to today's date, we have no answer for it. But rather, you are removing commissioners, 10 commissioners, under the guise of discrepancy.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if any of the guys on the show here can give us an answer for that, we really appreciate it tonight. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. And guys, please write that down. Let me bring on Trogon Bayou. Trogon.
Yeah, Dennis.
Yeah.
Hi, everybody. How you all doing?
Good. You watched the game between Grand Bassa and River G? Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, I watched the game from my office. I was a little bit disappointed. One of my workmates walking. I said, no, I just forgot. So I'm feeling like this.
Go ahead.
Well, that is when this government took over. A lot of people were expressing their concern that this administration was not going to achieve that much based on the promises they were making. They dug a very deep hole for themselves. When you start making all those promises, you know that you will not be able to fulfill the promises. No matter whatever you achieve, people will say, well, you promised that you were going to do this. So that achievement will not be recognized. So that's the situation this administration is faced with now. And you can win election, you can win an election through propaganda, but you cannot govern by propaganda, because people will see the facts. They will see what you're doing, no matter whatever you portray or you claim that you have done. People say 738 kilometers of roads. Are you kidding me? You know what 738 kilometers of road is? And the second thing here is that even if you grid up 738 kilometers of roads, you're going to leave 738 kilometers of road and then you didn't put no asphalt on it. Then when it rained, the next rainy season, all that road get completely damaged. They all become potholes and You just wasted $22 million. Okay. Now, I want the Unity Party supporters to start saying this until they can clarify this to some of us who are not supporting any political party, but we want to be very independent and look at this thing from a realistic point of view. If you say, personally, we have put you in the deep hole and you find it very difficult to come out, then why don't you explain this? How deep is the hole in details in general? Just saying, we are coming out of a very very bad condition. So then you still running propaganda. That time is over. It's time to govern. You know, and my brother Dennis, let me say something. This way you become superintendent for Sano. Don't cancel that YS Sunday. Then your own people will run you out of office. Please don't do that.
We'll have the national exam that I took. We'll develop our own test based on us.
You know, we all took our national exam, but they're on a different system now. So don't cancel it, my brother. On that good show, I think, Dennis, I'm a paid subscriber to your channel now. I don't know whether you noticed that.
Thank you very much. When we need more subscribers so that we can keep the lights on. This is the only place where you.
Exactly.
But thank you so much. Thank you. There was some question asked, and somebody call your name. Where I want us to concentrate now for the remaining part of the show is, let's look forward. The 100 days are gone. We can't get them back. What do we expect for the next 100 days or 600 days?
Well, I think that Mr. Boakai should commit to transparency, because, you know, Liberia problem is not so much with raising revenue, because Ellen brought in billions, and in the aftermath, corruption took it away. So the real problem Liberia faces is issues surrounding rule of law, governance, and anti-corruption. And so it's very discouraging when he doesn't focus on those areas and think you can really just get by through other things. I think going forward, they need to commit to focusing on fighting corruption. They need to commit to focus on following the rule of law. Like I said, even if you have gold and diamond to deliver to the Liberian people, deliver it by following the rules and regulations laid down by the Constitution, laid down by the statutes and other regulations. That has we operate in a civilized society, and that prevents violence and self-help. So I expect that going forward, one of the best things that he can do, for example, if he's going to investigate, don't do lopsided investigation. CDC, they only used to investigate Unity Party people. Now Boakai comes in. His UP people corrupt, he doesn't investigate. His industrial committee corrupt, he doesn't investigate. His chief of staff corrupt, he doesn't investigate. The moment he heard appointee at FIU was involved in corruption, boom, he suspended the guy. You don't do that. The rule of law is across the board. If it's UP, you take action. If it's CDC, you take action. If there's no party, you take action. But you can't criticize CDC for 6 years for lopsided or justice system. Then you come in, you ignore everything that UP is doing, and you're only attacking when you see something is done by CDC appointees. So that's my, advice to them as they go forward.
Leo, we are looking forward.
No, thank you. I got some very specific things in my case. First of all, they should start making these lofty plans that there is no way you are able to accomplish with $700 million budget. That's the very first thing. No educated person in Liberia that knows better would say that with $700 million, you will fix roads, you will fix healthcare, you will fix education, you will fix agriculture. That's voodoo economics. It doesn't make sense. If you look at the Liberian government budget, recurring expenses monthly, this budget is going to be another wash. I can tell you that. Not because JMB doesn't want to do good or do well. It's practically impossible with the way the budget is structured to be able to do anything with it. And this is not one government's fault. It's been an Achilles heel of the Liberian government. So until JMB can get it next year to probably raise more money or restructure how the budget is done, at the very least, he will maintain the status quo, at the very least. But here are some practical things. I think the next 100 days, if we want to look at things that you can get effected right away and accomplish.
Let's make it 300 days now. This 100 days.
Or 300 days. Take it wherever you want.
Or end of year.
Get rid of all government officials' perks. Mr. Jala was saying, like, bro, I can get you room. I get you bathing, so I'm going to bring a woman for you to sleep. Why are we buying vehicles for government officials to drive? 60,000 vehicles. Get rid of all of that. No scratch card. No gas slip. You can cut that off right away, immediately. If you can't afford to buy a car as a government official, maybe that will push us to get a more robust public transport system. Get rid of it. They're making enough money to be able to get themselves to work and back. Number two, go to the legislators. Why is the legislator receiving $40,000 car every 2 to 3 years? That's close to $4 million. When we don't have buses on the street for young children getting killed in the morning on motorcycles, trying to get to school, but we can buy luxury cars for legislators to drive.
And no street for them to drive them.
Exactly. And our children,
you can buy your car back after 3 years because you are depreciated.
You can buy it after 3 years. And our children are dying from motorcycle accidents trying to just get to school. They can't get public transportation. Another piece, terms of references for performance reviews. All ministries, all line agencies and ministers should have specific terms of reference that at the end of the year, a performance review should be conducted that will determine whether or not they are competent of doing the job or not. By which basis President Boakai can fire or ask people to resign. So President Boakai now is letting you go for nothing. President Boakai letting you go because of your failure to execute the work. Another piece, War and Economics Crime Court. Within the next 300 days or whatsoever, President Boakai should have a robust roadmap to let us know exactly how is this going to be approached. I'm not one of those people that are under the illusion that this is an easy thing to actually do. But President Boakai has committed to it. So he needs to give us exactly what his plan is in getting to accomplish this feat. Another piece, Mr. Jah.
Yeah, 30 seconds.
Review of the corrupt Liberian constitution. You cannot get a good governance process from a bad governance document. Gloria Mususkat's committee under Ellen Johnson Sirleaf did a robust engagement across the country. That report has been sitting on the shelf, gathering dust as to the fact that our Liberian constitution is corrupt. No matter how many of you amend. Article 97 of the Liberian constitution say no member of the People's Redemption Council can ever be prosecuted for committing murder, for overthrowing the government, for falsely confiscating people's properties. So our constitution has created super citizens above the other. Kenya, a more sophisticated democracy, changed their entire constitution. Rwanda, after the genocide, changed their flag, their pledge of allegiance, the constitution, to build a new republic. So for me, these are some practical things that Boakai can start to do that will have immediate impact on the country.
Thank you. Mr. Sieh, we are looking
Dennis, I will start with transparency. Let the president be transparent. Let him be a leader that will speak to the Liberian people. Dennis, this is very important to me. People are suffering economically in our country. And you have a leader who can already talk to their mind. And you think that people will have patience enough to not have electricity for 2 years. When the president is not telling them the difficulties the government is experiencing and making the people to take ownership of their lives in the country. Because there's nothing Boakai has to offer Liberians other than to use Liberians' own money to carry on little projects here and there. I'll leave that. Transparency is the first thing I wanted to talk about. Mr. Boakai declared his asset. He is yet to show it. He has become 2.0 of President Weah, who declared his asset and told us he had his children to protect. This is Mr. Clean Hands. This is significant. Now, because Boakai did not declare his assets on time and yet to show it to us, there are about thousands of the people he appointed that have not declared their assets in violation of the laws of Liberia. That's not a serious precedent. Now, President Boakai receiving gifts, you need to demonstrate seriously. Now he's serious by accountability. Buffer Chimba giving him an ambulance and he came out and received it. The Code of Conduct law says you cannot receive anything above $200 Liberian. Boakai received an ambulance for Buffer Chambers. His party was criticizing yesterday. Boakai received the ambulance. He has it still. Can he give the ambulance back to Buffer Chimba? Can the Liberian governor buy an ambulance for him? Another thing is, where are the indictments that the Unity Party people promised us? These CDC people, according to them, they were stealing all over the place. We'll indict them, we'll prosecute them. We are yet to see the first indictment. The other reports, according to them, they are right there. When? This is a man who took almost 3 months to give her a justice minister. 3 months to give her a justice minister. When will we start seeing the indictments to hold the past government accountable? First of all, you don't even have an assessment report of why you took over, that indictment you will come to. This is a government that is gradually coming to a point now where they will give themselves. That's what they're talking about. So somebody mentioned, I think that revenue is not a thing. Then as you left parable, when you are using a leaking bucket to draw water from the ocean, Labrador Sea, right? The ocean is right there. If you decide to use that bucket that is leaking to fill a drum on that very beach, very close to the ocean, you will not fill it. What do I mean? Our government is corrupt. The whole system, you have a bunch of corrupt people in government being recycled. These people, when they appoint them, they're thinking about how they will chop. And you think we are going somewhere with a meaningless budget. What's the figure? Let me look at it. $738.8 million. That is a negligible budget. It is not even enough for education, given how messy our educational system has become. And then the whole thing is leaking. People are stealing all over the place, abusing public trust. And then the president who say he will change that, he is hiding his assets as we speak. He cannot even tell us where he took money from to be making donations all over the place. Dennis, we are screwed big time.
Thank you. And the thing about corruption is no matter how small the food is in your mouth, it can be in your mouth and you blow whistle. So anytime you are stealing, you can't do anything better. Mr. Jabate, we want to look forward. The 100 days are gone. We can't get them back.
Yeah, I mean, looking forward, it's like a lot of my colleagues touched on basically most of what I have planned, but President Boakai has the chance to be a legacy president. I mean, I don't know about everybody else, but for me, I would assume that he's not going to run in 2029. So this is the perfect opportunity to disturb the status quo, to just come and put and saying everybody, Gary, let them be mad, but let the Liberian people see a better Liberia. But I don't see that happening based on the way things are going. It's very discouraging.
He said not to let our people down, and I thought that was profound. I hope
but he is letting our people down. That's part of the thing. I mean, he should show leadership. One, he started on Voice of America and said he will declare asset and make it public. We are still chasing after it. It's not public. We criticize George. We are saying he declared asset in April in bill 43 million before he declared asset to add in. So what is President Boakai trying to do before he released? He make it public to add his asset to? We don't know. I hope not. But with wasteful spending is too much in our country. Liberia, one of the poorest countries in the world, officials make more than the wealthy countries in the world. Probably in the top 10 highest paying government officials in the world. It's crazy. As when we look at our legislature, they make more money more than or compared to the U.S. legislation, which is ridiculous.
On that list, the people, the government pays for their cooks. You got wife can cook for
when
you.
they die.
Your husband can cook for you.
Even when they die, we still pay. We still pay.
Yeah. You see, and then they talk about the car situation. For all these years, we said the Southeast was not open. How many representatives said they are going back to the Southeast? Were this fancy $80,000 car? They were not going anywhere. Driving around Monrovia. You give people $2,000 voucher for gas. Foreign investors will never come, or the private sector will never boom in our country if we don't have security. Because people don't want to come to a country that is not secure with their hard-earned money. And we continue to live in a country where the government is the largest employer. That's a recipe for destruction. Liberians will continue to live below the poverty line because it's not sustainable. The budget is a college or university, the entire national budget is a university budget in the US. So how do you expect?
High school.
Exactly, a high school budget. And they want to do all these things. You cancel the free tuition. I know people get mad when they hear that stuff. But the judge, we have put that stuff in play as a way to campaign for re-election. He didn't know. He didn't think that through. That's why he didn't make it into law. Because he told you come and do this. There was a way I was there, we get free education, so vote for us. But President Biden need to cancel that stuff. Liberia need to go back to the drawing board and work forward for our people. He was a big man. Say when he was over agriculture, Liberia or local kind call it bread basket, or whatever the case would be. They show our people the bread. Show our people the bread. The people are hungry. And then everybody in the country of over 5 million people, half of the population in one of the smallest county in the country. Monserrado County is one of the smallest county. But you got over 2.5 million people living in that county. If you don't decentralize the country, nothing's going to happen. Nothing will happen. It is tough. So please, he needs to be a legacy president. Disrupt the system for the benefit of the people. Stable electricity and running water will continue to struggle. So he needs to put his best foot forward. The people need to feel the change. The fact that the CDC is out, they need to feel the change of the United Party. But you cannot keep doing the same thing. You got a bird nest form of government right now. Everybody doing their own thing. He need to take control of it, and he said he will audit his own government. He said, I believe he said something about quarterly audit or something when he was during the campaign time. Show the people by auditing the outgoing government, the out government, and now tell your folks in the next 3 months, if you want to do 6 months, you will be audited too. But he needs to show leadership. He needs to speak up. The fire situation, I was disappointed. He did not speak on it until Fanatic Cover House got on fire. Then he set his alarm clock and ran to him early in the morning.
And he still never spoke.
Exactly. It's very disappointing. When he was before inauguration, that incident, he ran that.
Yeah.
We criticized Judge Weah, even though Judge Weah
that's what I was actually trying to say, Dennis.
He went to Toluta. He went to the hospital, visited the people in Toluta. But that little baby burned in that house and passed away the next day. People in West Point houses burned.
Correct.
People in Oro, 1-0 burned, and 2 people's houses next to it burned.
Correct.
And so this year, over 11 people have died in fire. Over 50 or 60 fire has occurred in Liberia. They have said nothing other than going to Fanatic Cover House.
Yep. And then Fanatic Cover post pictures in 2 weeks.
They insulted the poor people by saying construction already on. What people did not, so people are homeless for I don't know how long. And you went to the rich man house. He earned money legally because we're paying a ridiculous amount so he can afford to get a crew in there the next day without facing the ground floor. But my Muslim in West Point or Pajon, he can't do that stuff. The children are not poor. They ain't got nothing to wear. So he needs to do better to turn this tree around and go in the right direction. But rather, not going in the right direction.
Thank you.
Francis, wasn't Boakai the same man who said he squandered opportunities?
Thank you. Only I allowed to ask Prince a question, not you. And Bonatti also said the former president sent him through 3 suitcases of clothes.
Exactly. He came on Facebook to let us know.
Yeah.
My friend, the former president, then President Boakai, the current president, who went there.
Right.
He gave him one of his houses.
If you go all you from all the way good looking like me, you leave your own with God.
But we haven't seen the former president or the current president, anyone that show up to those other vixens that have been burning outside of the total fire that was a major disaster.
Mr. We have 5 minutes to close. Mr. Nambe, we all talk about the robust, and I want you to look forward, the robust plan, disrupt things, as Francis will say. What we see now is induction ceremonies. I think the spokesperson they appointed, there was an elaborate program for induction. I don't know where this is coming from. Also, anybody knows what's going with all the tenure? What's going on at NASCAR? Remember when the eminent citizen went there? The guy is still there, but at TRA and other people are suffering it. Is this guy going to remain there? I mean, they say he was there since what?
Same still has time. Yeah,
and then they ordered the
same child still have time. Vamu in that place.
Yeah, nobody,
The guy already positioned himself from the money he provided for the cars before the inauguration.
Yeah,
so the auditing of all marks was in the 100 days plan. We're going to audit all ministries, agencies, corporations. The president didn't even talk about it today. Anyway,
no, he didn't.
Mr. Nabe, let's look forward. I mean,
we're looking forward, Dennis, and thanks to the previous speakers, I think they made my task a lot easier, because I agree with pretty much everything they've said. I think this government has to realize that they were too preoccupied in the first 100 days with optics and politics. They want to be seen as opposed to actually doing. All of these things you're describing, the outstanding reports here and there. I think the legislature set up the executive to investigate the situation in NASCAR and all that. Nobody knows where that is. The B Martin, the Kinjaw, all of that. Nobody knows where that's going. The inauguration report, nobody knows where that's going. So my only suggestion is, I think they should forget all this optics, and put the politics aside and actually govern. I think that's what they were elected for. That's what we're looking for from them. I don't hear much being said about job creation. There are a lot of young people who are languishing. They need to find a way. I heard someone mention somewhere, and this is not my original idea, but what about all these ships that are flying the Liberian flags? Can we negotiate with them and let some of the crew members on that ship be Liberians? I mean,
Marital, that pepper bush that I can never be shaken for time in memorial in Liberia.
Exactly, So yeah, they need to get, forget the politics. And the good thing about this president is, hopefully he's not running for a second term, so he shouldn't really be too concerned with politics. He should really be the president who wants substantive, governance. And I'm hoping going forward, I hope they have learned over the past 100 days, what all of this has done to this government. There's still a lot of hope that some of us are still holding out for this government. We hope they will realize that, politicizing everything is not the way to go. Quietly, dig your heels in and get it done. That's what we're looking for.
Thank you. Join us tomorrow at 7:30 for Tough Talking Thursday. This is where we talk tough. We want to take a step back and say every government is promising us change. What is this change? And who do we expect to bring about this change? Will it be the administration? Will it be the executive branch? Will it be the judicial, the legislators, the voters? Where is it going to come from? We want to take a step back. I look at Grand Cru, and Grand Cru has more cities than some of the biggest counties. And even in my father's village, I was supposed to go there to kind of be there, but I'm all the way here. Nobody is there. But
even here, President, we have 25,000 votes.
It's a sub-district. Nobody lives there, but it's still a district. People there, magistrate and all that. So it's a whole mess. That's why you will see the president will over all these people. But I want to thank you, gentlemen, for the time. I want to thank our viewers, always focused on Liberia. where we educate, we elevate, and promote all things Liberia. If you have not done so already, our vision is to be the most educative and informative media institution that fosters knowledge and curiosity about Liberia. The reason we exist, our mission is to create a more enlightened and informed Liberian society that attracts the world. Our core values: truthfulness, accuracy, credibility, fairness, and respect. So sometimes if you don't see officials of government coming here to be questioned because they won't drink cooler here. That will do it for all of us here. On behalf of all of us that focus on Liberia, we say thanks for watching as we end with our song that says, "We are all Liberians." Have a good night and God bless you.
We are Liberians.